How's it going, everybody? It's Warren, and welcome back to my channel, The Cosmic Wonder, where we talk about all things Marvel and everything relating to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And although lately Marvel has been pretty quiet, they actually have a ton of plans coming up for Phase 4, Phase 5, and beyond. In fact, the next 10 years may in fact trump the first 11 years from Iron Man to Avengers Endgame, and of course, Spider-Man Far From Home. And in these next 10 years or so, in the next few phases that we're going to get in the MCU, we are going to be getting a much bigger Marvel Cinematic Universe than we could ever imagine. And in this bigger universe that we're about to get, we're going to be getting a lot more new teams. It's not just going to be the Avengers anymore. And in this video, I'll break down each new team that is going to be coming to the MCU and how all of them will eventually come together at the very end of this next saga, some on the same team and some on the other. But first, if you're new, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest MCU news, and so you can enter this week's giveaway for a chance to win a Deadpool vs. Cable Funko Pop. All you have to do to enter is subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment down below. So as of right now where we're at, we pretty much know that there are going to be at least 8 new teams coming in this next saga. And that may sound like a lot, but again, the Marvel Universe is expanding. So let's break down each of these teams. The first one that we'll talk about, of course, is the most obvious, and that is the New Avengers. As of right now, there really isn't an Avengers team. In fact, executives at Disney have already said that we're living in a world where the Avengers are no more. But of course, they're not gone for good, so a new Avengers team is going to be established. Now, in the comics, in New Avengers Volume 1, the original lineup was Luke Cage, Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Spider-Woman. But this lineup isn't going to be anything like what we'll get in the MCU. Captain America and Iron Man are sadly gone, but we do have an idea of what the new lineup could be. A lot of reports suggest that Captain Marvel and Peter Parker Spider-Man are going to be the 2 new leaders of the New Avengers. And then of course we have a new Captain America, Sam Wilson. We can also expect Wanda to be making a return as well. Doctor Strange will also most likely be a key member of the New Avengers team, and rumor has it that Jane Foster's Thor could be a member of the New Avengers as well. And not to mention new characters that are going to be entering the MCU, such as Nova, Blade, and some X-Men. So the New Avengers team is going to consist of some old Avengers combined with some new Avengers. And so far we've only gone over one team, and that's already a few new characters, and there are so many new characters coming, especially with the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, which we'll talk about in just a bit. And speaking of awesome characters, Fortnite just came out with their new season, Chapter 2, Season 4, Nexus Wars, which is Marvel themed. And they have a ton of epic characters that you can now play in Fortnite, and thank you to Epic Games for sponsoring this video. Season 4 Nexus War just released on Fortnite a few days ago, and now you can play as characters such as Thor in all his glory, Iron Man, She-Hulk, Storm, Doctor Doom, Wolverine, and more are coming later on in the season. Play as these characters and then team up with one another to stop the planet-devouring Galactus. And you can also take up superpowers in the game now, like Doctor Doom's Arcane Gauntlets, Groot's Bramble Shield, or the Silver Surfer's Board, and more coming later on in the season. I've only been playing for a few days so far, but it is the most fun that I've ever had in Fortnite.
Oh, check this out. Oh! Oh, yeah!
So if you've never played Fortnite, or if you haven't played in a while, this is the perfect time to jump in. If you haven't downloaded Fortnite already, you can use my link in the description down below to download Fortnite for free. Now, the New Avengers team is not the only Avengers team coming to the MCU. We are also going to be getting a Young Avengers team. Now, Marvel has already begun to introduce some members of the Young Avengers. We have Harley Keener, who was introduced in Iron Man 3, and then we saw him again in Avengers Endgame at Tony Stark's funeral. And of course, as we know, Marvel does everything on purpose. Everything has a reason, including Harley Keener being at the funeral. And then we have the daughter of Ant-Man, Scott Lang, Cassie Lang. In the comics, she is the hero, Stature, who will most likely see her turn into in Ant-Man 3. There's also, of course, the official announcement from Marvel that we are getting a Miss Marvel Disney Plus show, and she'll most likely be one of the leaders of the Young Avengers. And then it's confirmed that Wanda and Vision are going to have twin boys in the WandaVision series, and of course these twin boys are Wiccan and Speed. Then we have the Hawkeye series, which is going to introduce Kate Bishop, and she is going to take on the mantle of Hawkeye. And last but not least, we have gotten reports that Hulkling is going to be a part of the Young Avengers as well. So for a group of young heroes, it's a pretty powerful and stacked group. A group that could probably put up a good fight against the new Avengers team. But then, of course, we have some incredibly powerful beings coming to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The mutants. Now, based off of everything that we know so far, the mutants will be introduced into the MCU just as that, mutants. They're going to first introduce mutants in individual films. Then ultimately they will come together and form the X-Men. This is going to be a lot like the Avengers in the beginning. They introduced Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, and Edward Norton's Hulk, if we count that, Natasha and Hawkeye briefly in Thor, and then they brought them all together to form the Avengers. The same is going to happen for the X-Men. Just think of Professor X as somewhat of a Nick Fury. Now, we will have an X-Men team, but also some of the X-Men will join the new Avengers. But ultimately, the Avengers and the X-Men will fight side by side with each other in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, teaming up to fight the new big bad of the MCU, Galactus, and possibly even Doctor Doom with him. And speaking of Doctor Doom, you can't have Doctor Doom without the Fantastic Four. Marvel's first family, a team that everybody has been waiting to make their way over to the MCU for a very long time. And finally, they are making their way to the MCU. In fact, recently we've gotten news about the Fantastic Four. Marvel Studios registered a production company which is believed to be for the Fantastic Four, meaning production on the Fantastic Four could start a lot sooner than we think. Of course, the Fantastic Four consist of Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, Sue Storm, aka the Invisible Woman, who of course would go on to marry Reed Richards. Then we have Johnny Storm, the Human Torch and brother of Sue Storm, and of course Ben Grimm, the Thing and best friend of Reed Richards. As of right now, we have no official news on who the cast members could be for this film, but right now the fans are fan casting married couple John Krasinski and Emily Blunt as Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman. Fans would also like to see Zac Efron play the Human Torch and The Rock play the Thing, which would be quite a fitting role for The Rock. Ultimately, the Fantastic Four will go on to join the X-Men and the Avengers in battle, most likely in the next Avengers Endgame level event that Marvel has in store for us, Avengers Secret Wars. If you thought Avengers Infinity War and Endgame were big, wait till you see Secret Wars. Another group that we have coming is a group that not a lot of people consider to be their own team, but they are. The Eternals. The Eternals are almost gods. They're immortal beings created by the celestial gods. The Eternals has an absolute star-studded cast, and they're not going to just be around for only one film. The Eternals' job is to protect the Earth, and when the Earth gets threatened, and it's too much for them to handle, they'll have to unite with the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, and the X-Men as well. And of course, another group that we absolutely love, the Guardians of the Galaxy. Just as the Guardians teamed up with the Avengers in Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, they'll do so again in Secret Wars. And with Guardians of the Galaxy 3 confirmed, we're wondering just who the team is going to be, with rumors that Rocket Raccoon could be dying in the film, and of course, the teaser for Adam Warlock at the end of Guardians Volume 2. And then these next two teams are going to be a little bit different than anything Marvel has really done before. They're going to be a little bit darker. One new team that is coming is the Midnight Suns. With the official announcement from Marvel Studios that Blade is going to be coming to the MCU, Blade is going to start Marvel's Monsterverse. This will include vampires, werewolves, and any other monsters that you could probably think of. But Blade is not going to be alone in fighting these monsters. He's going to have a team of his own. Now, in the comics, the Midnight Suns team consists of Hellstrom, Jennifer Kale, Morbius, Werewolf by Night, Doctor Strange, Ghost Rider's Danny Ketch, and brother Johnny Blaze. Obviously, this is going to be a little bit different in the MCU, but we know Blade is going to be a part of it. Doctor Strange is most likely going to join as well, and there have been a lot of rumors going around recently that Ghost Rider is going to be making his appearance in the MCU pretty soon. But the Midnight Suns aren't going to be the only dark superhero team in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. As we've known for a while, the Thunderbolts are going to be coming to the MCU as well. The team will most likely consist of Thunderbolt Ross as Red Hulk and the person in charge of the Thunderbolts, Taskmaster, and possibly Yelena Belova from Black Widow, depending on how that movie plays out, Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Justin Hammer from Iron Man 2. And not to mention Baron Zemo, who of course is going to be coming back in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So right now, as you can see, there are plenty of new characters coming in these new teams to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Marvel is going for bigger and better during this next saga over the next 10 years. Of course, it won't be as nostalgic as the first 10 years, but it's exciting nonetheless. So let me know which team you are most excited for to enter the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Be sure to let me know who's your favorite in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest MCU news. For live updates, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.